at the movie. We have movies. We can just check out the movies, tune out the bad stuff, and tune into the good stuff, Tim.
Yeah, right. Hi, Kim. It's funny that the story that you just presented. I had
Mhm.
a friend who I just read an article where Bill Gates was being interviewed, and he said something about like AI will within the next 5 years, AI is going to like sort of like make the need even sometimes for doctors to be
Mhm.
obsolete. This friend of mine who was very tech savvy, long story short, had this issue that he had to take care of. He tried getting through to Kaiser. He couldn't get through to Kaiser because all their phones were backed up. So
Mhm.
he went on GPT, and then he was able to diagnose his own illness.
What?
Yes, he diagnosed his own. This shocked me. He diagnosed his. This was just yesterday. He diagnosed his own illness, went online, got a prescription, was able to 2 hours later fill the prescription at a Walgreens, and he didn't even need a doctor.
How do you get a prescription without the signature of an MD?
I don't know. That's what I asked him. I don't know. You know what?
Hmm.
I'm leaving out some of the details, but he
Yeah.
basically was able to diagnose through pictures and through, going through Chat GPT. It kind of blew my mind. So
Wow.
anyway, I just thought I would share that since that's the story you're coming off of here.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah,
really interesting.
yeah.
I
Anyway, but we're gonna do movies now, right?
well, let's do movies. Let's move on. There's so much to
Okay.
say, but let's do it. The first one on your list. This picture freaks me out. It's
Yeah,
called Bring Her Back.
yeah. The movie will probably freak you out too. Yeah, this is the weekly horror film entry. God,
Yikes.
horror is so in these days, right? I think horror these days just might be as big as or even bigger than Marvel or DC.
Mhm.
Maybe they don't make as much money, but that boy, horror movies are all over the place. Anyway, Bring Her Back. Yeah, what is this? Ugh. It's a psychological supernatural horror thriller, basically. And the plot is that a brother and a sister's father accidentally dies. And because the siblings are underage, the brother, who will be 18 in 3 months, after which he can assume legal guardianship of his younger sister. But in those 3 months intervening, both he and his sister are sent off to this private home and are taken into the quote unquote care of an eccentric, and I found her to be instantaneously creepy woman who is grieving. She's still grieving the accidental drowning of her daughter.
Oh.
Hence the title, Bring Her Back, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go, oh. And oh God, this movie wants to be, and for the most part succeeds in being a kind of semi disturbing, very nasty, very unpleasant, and overall gnarly horror movie with some really terrifying sequences. So great, right? If that's the kind of horror one is in the mood for seeing, great. But my beef against this film, and the reason I found it frustrating, is that it fundamentally didn't make any sense, which was further exacerbated. And I know I complain about this all the time, but it was further exacerbated by its inferior sound mix, which
Oh.
obscured a large portion of the dialogue. So on top of everything else, you're going, what did they say? What did they say? We won't go there again this week, only to say that this didn't help matters at all. And horror films, to me, that just throw things at you for the sake of scaring you are, for the most part, they're just distasteful. And that's what Bring Her Back did. It just threw disturbing stuff right at you, right in your face. Plot holes and unexplained incidents abounded in this movie. And I also dislike horror films that make no sense. The only horror film I did like eventually, that I came to appreciate eventually, that initially made no sense to me, was The Shining. But that was Stanley Kubrick, one
Yeah.
of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And this is only the second film of the Philippo brothers, Danny and Michael. They're Australian filmmakers, and they're no Stanley Kubrick. I'm sorry. So what this movie, and so I'm trying to, let me sum this up. What Bring Her Back does best is that it establishes this horror mood
Mhm.
throughout, that is eerily effective. The performances by Billy Barrett and Sora Wong, I think that's her in the poster. She's blind in real life, by the way, and they use that to advantage in furtherance of the plot. She's a blind actress.
Mhm.
Sally Hawkins plays the creepy foster parent. She's fabulous. There's some sequences that will probably make you lose your lunch, but
Ew.
I say skip it, because in the end there are just too many plot holes that just leave you hanging. I'm going, what is I was taken out of the horror continuously by going, what the hell is happening? This is stupid.
Yeah.
So that's my take on bring her back. I don't know.
Bring her back. Nope. Skip it.
No.
Karate Kid Legends.
Yes, there's not a whole lot to be said for this sixth entry in the Karate
Oh,
Kid
wow.
franchise. Other
Fifth?
than, yeah, sixth. Yeah. Well, it's very cool that Jackie Chan is in this. There he is in the poster on the left-hand side, and it's cool that Ralph Macchio, the original Karate Kid, returns after a 41-year absence from this IP. But this is just the original Karate Kid movie in a quote-unquote new set of clothes. Really, it's about this young Chinese boy played by Ben Wang who migrates from China to the U.S. He meets a girl, gets bullied by a martial arts psycho who used to go with this girl,
That sounds familiar.
and then he triumphs in a martial arts tournament. Surprise, surprise. The main difference with this one is that there's this weird subplot involving the girl's father, played by Joshua Jackson, delivering his best George Clooney imitation. I mean, I think, anyway, I won't go there. Anyway, this guy owns and runs a pizza parlor, and the Ben Wang character trains this guy to fight in a comeback match, which you didn't even need. I mean, I don't even know why they put that in there. It's okay. These are the kinds of movies that are difficult to be completely fair when accurately assessing, especially when one at times feels as though they've seen everything, like me. And this was one of those movies. It was on the nose predictable at every turn. If you love the Karate Kid movies, have at it, enjoy it. But for me, this was like 94 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. The fight sequences were more kinetic here than in past Karate Kid movies, but that's only because we live in a more kinetic and frenetic time, I think. I say skip this one too, unless you're a diehard fan and you have to see it. And, if you're a Jackie Chan fan, I am. I mean, Jackie Chan for me made it bearable. I love Jackie Chan. He made it bearable, but there's not much here to hang your hat on.
Oh, that's a bummer. Okay.
Yeah. Even the feel good feeling that they want you to have, it just seemed so like manipulative. It's like, okay, you don't need to tell me that I need to feel this right now, because if this movie were good, I would do it without you, like, shoving it in my face. Anyway, I'm cranky today.
Well, it is like it does sound an awful lot like the plot of the first one. And if you're going to do 6 of these movies, then why don't you further the story or do, I don't know, change something rather than just tell the same story over and over and over again.
Yeah. Why not further it instead of just underlining it? Because we know, we did market research on this, and this is what the audience is. Oh, please. Anyway, like I say, I'm crabby today.
Bad Shabbos.
Now we're gonna switch gears here. This was a good one, Bad Shabbos. It's a dark comedy because of a certain plot twist, which shall go unnamed here because I don't want to spoil anything, but it comes as a surprise where you least expect it. But yeah, funny movie. I should explain for those listening unfamiliar, but the Shabbos is basically the Jewish Sabbath. It's defined as this time of rest. It's like 24 hours from Friday night to Saturday night. And it's typically spent with family. You kind of hang out with family, you chill, whatever, count your blessings, whatever. And those participating, it's a common thing to say to those participating in the Jewish Sabbath, to say to each other, they'll say, good Shabbos, right? Well, this movie is called Bad Shabbos. So that pretty much tells you what you're in store for. And the premise is that over the course of a Shabbos dinner, this family, Jewish family, gathers, tensions arise, as they generally do at these get-togethers, and then those tensions are further exacerbated by that certain plot twist, which shall go unnamed. I don't want to give that away. And it's a crazy comedy that pokes affectionate fun affectionate fun at like ethnic rituals, traditions, which we all, if we're being honest with ourselves, dogmatically cling to. They poke fun at racism and ethnic stereotypes and mixed marriages and Catholic and Jewish guilt, which are, in my opinion, so inextricably linked. The direction is crisp and snappy. The cast is great. Kira Sedgwick is in this.
Oh, I love her.
She's great. She plays the matriarch of the family. David Paymer's in this, Ashley Zuckerman. Catherine Curtin is especially funny as one of the non-Jewish in-laws. The movie, I just learned, it won the Audience Award at this year's Tribeca Film Festival. I saw it alone, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny, but I can only imagine how funnier it could be if and or when seen with an audience. I mean, so good movie, funny movie. The acid test for any comedy, Kim, is it funny? And when it's funny, it works like it does here in this movie, Bad Shabbos. Yeah.
Bad Shabbos. You make me want to see it. Excellent.
It's good. Yeah, it's a nice movie. It wasn't one of these movies I have to sit through and I'm going, oh God.
No.
You know, it just was funny and light, and I needed it for this week. It was like a palate cleanser for me.
This next one, I don't know what to make of this movie. This is called 25 Cats from Qatar.
Yes. Oh, 25 Cats from Qatar. Okay, this is probably my favorite movie of the week. And the timing is good on this, Kim, because right now there's really only one way to see this movie, and that's at this year's SF Doc Fest, and that's actually tomorrow, which I'm gonna mention. But where to start with this movie? I loved everything about this movie. It's directed by Mai Huang, whose previous film was a documentary called Cat Daddies about we men who love our cats, right? It was a terrific movie, but this one spotlights a different story. I mean, cats are the subject, but this spotlights a number of stories. It sets the stage by talking about Qatar, one of the wealthiest nations in the world, population 3 million people, and a cat population of 3 million cats, right?
Wow.
In other words, the nation of Qatar has a street cat population equal to the population of the entire country, which kind of is mind-blowing when you think of it. There's so many cats over there. Many are diseased. Most are abandoned. Adoption of them is rare. Baby kittens are born left and right, and they're left to die because they die of dehydration. Anyway, so this background sets the stage for another story, and the main focus of the movie, which is about this woman, a flight attendant and a cat cafe owner named Katie, who really, in a way, and I'm not kidding, should at least be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, and who also in the film flies 25 cats from Doha, the capital of Qatar, all the way back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so that they can be adopted, right? So all this becomes this increasingly incredibly moving, quietly powerful, and fascinatingly detailed drama of how she goes about doing this. And it's just amazing. And so what begins as a story about rescuing abandoned street cats in a wealthy Gulf nation unfolds into this kind of meditation on humane animal care, animal welfare, and what it really means to have a home. If you love animals of any kind, I think you'll love this movie. If you love cats especially, this is a must-see movie. You may even become an animal welfare rescuer yourself after you see this movie. I'm seriously thinking about it myself, doing it maybe on a smaller scale than what this woman Katie does in the movie. The director of the movie, Mai Huang, her films too. What I loved about both this and her previous film, Cat Daddies, both of these films managed to, without any performative on-the-nose preaching, managed to presence what's spiritual about animals. In other words, they remind you of our connection to animals, how important that is, how important animals are to us, and how important we are to them. It's a beautiful, beautiful film. It's going to be screening at SF DocFest 2025 at 1 p.m. tomorrow at the Roxie Theater, the Big Roxie. That's at 3125 16th Street in San Francisco. And you can get tickets by going to the Roxie website. See it on the big screen, folks, if you can. Really, seriously, you'll thank me for it. Also, the director, Mai Huang, will be there in person for a post-screening discussion Q&A, along with the amazing cat rescuer, Katie, whose amazing story is told in this incredible, remarkable movie. I love this movie. I'm biased because I'm a cat daddy.
Yeah, you are.
I love cats, but this one, it kind of like breaks your heart, but not in a depressing way. I mean, because of the how this movie resolves and everything. But seeing some of these cats, oh man, it was tough. You want to just save them all. At least I did.
I have some information about San Francisco Doc Fest. It runs from May 29th, that's yesterday, through June 8th. So there is time. And the website is at the bottom of the screen, sfindie.com. But you said this is also at the Roxie.
And the Roxie's showing a lot of these. Yeah, it gets a little complicated, but the Roxie pretty much is showing a large part of these movies. If you go on the Roxie website and you do... it's like, what is it? It's, wait a minute, I'm just thinking, I'm looking for it here. It's roxy.com/film/SF.fest 2025. You can get information on how to get tickets. I'm going to be there. I'm going tomorrow to just support it because I love supporting independent film when I can, and I really want to support this movie too, so. So if anybody out there wants to come and, meet me, I'll be there.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, right. Okay.
Forever Roxie. They're looking for help purchasing their own building and preserving this historic cinema to ensure that Roxie is a vibrant home for independent film and community. So supporting the Roxie, it looks like now's the time if you care about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Support them because they need some help. So,
yeah. They're it's a good cause. Yeah.
The Roxie in San Francisco. Awesome. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. It is time for Tim Sika's classic movie rec of the week.
Drum roll, trumpets, blah, blah,
what
blah,
will
blah.
It be? It will be this.
The best years of our lives. Yeah. Have you ever seen it?
I've not seen this. This movie is from what year? Is it
1946?
Right. Okay.
And what a movie this is. And next year, celebrating its 80th anniversary, the years they are creeping up on us. Boy, I'm telling you, God, look at these movies. I go, man, I'm getting up there. But anyway, William Wyler's Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. It's one of the most beloved and honored films of all time. It won many Oscars back in the day. It won Best Picture, Actor, Director, or Supporting Actor, a ton. It struck the mother lode of award wins in 1946. Frederick March, Myrna Loy, who got top billing. She played the wife, but she got top billing over the real star of this picture, Frederick March, because she was such a big star herself at the time, which is why she got top billing. Teresa Wright is in this, Dana Andrews, who's never been better, Virginia Mayo, and Harold Russell, who won two Oscars that year for this movie. And I'll talk about that in a second. But the movie, which came out literally months after the end of World War II, is about these 3 U.S. servicemen readjusting to societal changes and civilian life after coming home from the war, from World War II. It's one of the earliest films to address issues encountered by returning veterans in the post-World War II era. So it was a very timely movie. Somebody once said, and I can't remember who said about this film, was that it was the best coming home movie ever made, and that pretty much sums it up. I watched it again last night. It's a long film. It's like nearly 3 hours for who knows what umpteenth time, and it's compulsively watchable. It makes you kind of weepy, but in a good way. Its emotional core is so strong. A lot of it is due to the Hugo Friedhofer score, which is so profoundly rich and emotional and moving. Anyway, superb. I mentioned Harold Russell earlier. In Best Years, I don't know if he's in the poster there. No, he's not. But in the movie, he plays a sailor who comes home from the war to his family and his girl with a pair of hooks where his hands once were.
Oh, wow.
He was the only non-professional in the cast who really lost his hands in a training accident while in the service. So this
Wow.
was kind of startling for audiences to see on screen.
Mhm.
They'd never really seen anything like it, and it lent the film a kind of startling authenticity. Russell had never acted before or since, but he wound up winning the Best Supporting Actor Oscar that year, and then he was also given another a special Academy Award for bringing hope to his fellow servicemen. So that's an interesting anecdote. This is filmmaking of another time, another era. It
Mhm.
kind of reflects the life and everyday pacing of the time that it portrays. I'm unsure how, say, Gen Zers might react to this. It was enormously popular and profitable in its day. You know, there's a funny story in connection with this, Kim. Sam Goldwyn, who was the producer of the film, he famously said in one of his regular malpropisms, you know, he would often mangle the English language, but he made a statement to the press once. He goes, "I don't care if this movie doesn't make a nickel. I just want every man, woman, and child in America to see it," which is ridiculous when you think of that. But anyway, just about everybody in America at the time did go to see it. I think it was up there with, at the time, being one of the most popular pictures, right below Gone with the Wind. So anyway, if anybody's interested today, they can check out The Best Years of Our Lives. It's now streaming on Amazon Prime. Yeah, it's a nice movie to watch alone too, I think. I don't know why I say that. I've
Why
always
alone?
yeah, why alone? I don't know. There's something about it that just, I don't know, connects you with some kind of inner something. I don't know. I don't know why I said that.
Hmm.
It's just, I think I've always seen, maybe because now that I think of it, I think I've always watched it alone. I've never seen it in a theater. It was a movie I watched as a kid on television.
Mhm.
And then over the years, you know, watched it again and again. I don't know. And I was always by myself, and it always felt good to watch it alone. But, you know, you can watch it with your family too, or your significant other, of course.
Is it a
Yeah.
happy movie?
I would say it's a hopeful movie. Is it a
Okay.
happy movie? Well, you know, it's about returning soldiers trying to adjust.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
coming home. You know, Jane Fonda made a movie called Coming Home in 1978,
Mhm.
which was about the Vietnam War. That tended to be a little. That one, I mean, that one was sad. I mean, didn't one of the characters in that movie commit suicide? Yeah, her
Yeah.
husband, Bruce Dern, coming back
Yeah.
from the war, wound up killing himself.
Mhm.
This is a little more gentler, I think, but I think it was as strong as audiences at the time could take, because, you know, when World War II was over, there was a calm in the country. You
Mhm.
know, people were like, you know, ready to kind of settle in for some, you know, for a few years of peace anyway. And yeah, but these soldiers were, you know, just having a difficult time trying to find work, you know, reuniting with their spouses, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And this movie really movingly shows that. I don't know if it's a happy movie. It's a hopeful movie.
That's good. I mean, you would think that a movie that's with this topic, that's about people coming home from war and how they settle back into their lives and what happens, would be,
Yeah.
just on the face of it, would be kind of depressing because it's hard. That's a hard
Yeah.
topic.
You know, it's depressing in one sense, but at the same time, you know, watching these people come back home and being reunited with their families is very moving. There's also the thing with, you know, the Harold Russell character, the fellow with the hooks, the guy that had the hooks, the scene where
Mhm.
he comes home. I mean, his parents and his girlfriend knew, but when they see him and they actually see the hooks, I mean, it's really sad. I mean, there's a scene in the movie where the mother just kind of like, she can't contain herself, and she just starts crying. And Harold Russell, playing the sailor, his name is Homer, says, "What's wrong, Mom?" And the father interrupts and says, "Oh, you know, your mother's just happy to see you." But what she really was just shocked by the fact
Mm.
that her son had no hands. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. It's really a beautiful film. Yeah, there's the whole cat: Frederick March, Myrna Loy, Dana Andrews, Teresa Wright, and there's Harold Russell hit to his back.
Yeah.
He played the sailor. Yeah.
So we just passed Memorial Day, and I
Mm.
have a friend I knew in high school. Haven't seen this guy for a really long time, but he
Uh-huh.
posted something on Facebook on Memorial Day that really kind of spoke to me. He put up a picture of his fraternal grandfather, who he never met. And here's what he said. He
Hmm.
said his fraternal grandfather took his life at an early age after many years of struggling with alcohol. He was in and out of relationships, and it appears unhappy as an adult, breaking up our family and a couple of others that I know of. He said it's
Mm.
been suggested more recently that he may have been suffering from PTSD from what he saw
Mm.
during World War II.
Mm.
There was no diagnosis or support groups in that day, so he said, I'm
Mm.
sure that he did the best he could. And then he writes this, please remember that soldiers, I would argue, troop members in general, right? Not just soldiers, but Marines and sailors, don't only sacrifice their lives, but proper family stability for generations to come.
Yeah.
What a sacrifice these military professionals
Yeah.
give for our freedom, not something to take lightly. And that's true, because what happens then, it doesn't just affect that person and their family members of the time, it does affect generations to come. My friend never even got to meet his grandfather because of what
Yeah.
happened in World War II.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. PTSD is I don't want to say inferred or
Mhm.
implied. In this movie, the way they deal with that is there's a scene where the bomber pilot, played by Dana Andrews, the guy in the middle there, the picture that you're showing, is having nightmares about the plane getting on fire and the other people that are in the plane with him having to jump out. It's a pretty powerful scene,
Mhm.
but they never really addressed it. I don't even know if they had a term for PTSD back then.
No.
But returning soldiers were definitely suffering from it. Yeah.
And they knew something was wrong, and they knew there was some
Yeah.
difficulties, or they wouldn't have made a movie like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
film. I can't get enough of it.
All right, we're gonna recap it. I hate to put the picture back up, but the movie is
Ugh,
called Bring
creepy.
Her Back. You
Creepy.
said this movie didn't make sense. It was a very bad sound mix, very
Yeah.
creepy, but good performances. So that you like the creep factor in the performances, but you said skip this one because of the plot weaknesses and holes. You could just go ahead and skip Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
Karate Kid, the Legends, sixth film in this Karate Kid franchise. You like that Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio were in this. So that was cool, but you said it's really more of the same. It's the same plot. You could skip it. You've already seen this movie.
Yeah.
Don't bother doing it again.
Yeah.
Bad Shabbos. Now we're getting into the ones you liked. You said this is a good one, dark comedy with a great plot twist, a great cast. You called it quick and funny. A good movie that you said works. Bad Shabbos, recommended by Tim Sika. 25 Cats from Qatar, part of the SF doc series that you can see at the Roxie in San Francisco. You said it's your favorite movie of the week, that it
Yeah.
reminds us of our connection to animals and the beautiful ways that people help animals as well.
And
So.
Kim, did you know, I didn't know, that cats coming into the country from outside the US have to have passports?
No, really?
Yes, that's just a little trivia thing
What?
about in this movie. Yes, they have to have passports. Cats coming into the country from outside the United States have to have. Yeah, go figure.
Weird. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's funny. Your classic movie recommendation of the week is The Best Years of Our Lives. From 1946. You called this a hopeful movie, and you said it's movie making from a different time. You like to watch this one alone. You enjoy it, and you say it's worth checking out again. The Best Years of Our Lives. There you
Yes.
have it.
Very good summation,
Yeah.
as usual. Thank you, Kim McAllister.
At the Movies with Tim Sika. You are awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kim. Talk to you next week.
Have a good weekend, my friend. Bye.
You too. Bye.